welcome to a very exciting episode of Coffee and Wrestling, a wrestling podcast with your hosts, Jamie and Mark. It is the first episode of 2024.
Happy New Year.
Thank you so much for joining us, friends.
This posted on New Year's Day, and as our loyal fan base always listens the minute this comes out. Thank you so much for listening. But yeah, Happy New Year. It's 2024. It's a new year of professional wrestling. It is the winding down of American hockey. It's coming up in April, and I have fireworks blowing up outside my house at 9 o'clock at night. So,
Ignore
America on New Year's, December 31st. You'll be hearing this on the 1st, but I digress. I'm
First
already
episode,
digressing.
2024.
New season.
So glad you're here.
We talked about this last year. Every year, there's going to be a new season. Not that it really matters to you guys, but it's season 3. This is our third year of us doing this. Calendar year, not full year. We're working on that. But yeah, new season, new year, new same old bullshit. Really, it's professional wrestling and caffeine
for the most part. But I'm very excited to talk about the newest AEW pay-per-view, Worlds End, and also the closing of the Continental Classic. We did crown a new champion.
Right.
And I'm very excited to talk about it.
Yes, very. My predictions came true for a lot of different things on this pay-per-view.
Yes.
For a lot of different things.
Yes, unfortunately. So
AEW Worlds End was last night, and it was interesting.
It was an interesting way to cap off the year, that's for sure.
It was a well-put-together pay-per-view. The matches were really good. I didn't have any complaints. The 0 hour was a little bit choppy. All 3 matches were a little bit less than stellar, which was weird because it wasn't like they were filled with anything other than good performers. I mean, the 20-man battle royale is the 20-man battle royale. You're going to get what you get.
Sure, it was fun.
I feel, it was fun. You and I were having a great time watching each one of them get eliminated and down to the last 3 when Trent ended up double-crossing Danhausen.
I know, I was going to say, I can't believe that we were in absolute awe for 2 solid minutes after he threw him out.
It's funny too because we did our predictions.
This happened.
We did our predictions, and before we even knew anybody that was in the battle royale, originally you went with Butcher and I went with Danhausen. I ended up changing mine to Butcher because I was like, "There's no way Danhausen's going to win." But you know what?
He actually went further.
But God damn it, he did. He went further than Butch.
He was number 3.
I know.
Unfortunately, Serpentico went out first.
I know.
What a bummer.
You know what? But I thought of it this way. Okay, so I've said this on the podcast before, and I still, to this day, think it's true. That man got paid just as much as the other 19 guys. Maybe not the one who win. I'll give the one that won. Maybe you got a little bit bonus, but he got paid just as much as everybody else
to go out first.
A fraction of the time.
Yeah, I mean he was in the showers, already in catering before Trent even got out of the ring.
He talking to Bendejo and John Cooper and. Or John Cooper.
John Cruz.
Yeah, no, he was talking to the old
John Coop?
Yeah, he's talking to the old Coop. Yeah, the old Tampa Bay Lightning coach.
The 20-man battle royale was super fun. It was funny because right when it started, 2 guys ended up immediately underneath tables, and I started joking because I didn't even see who it was. It happened so quickly. I was like, whoever is underneath the table is gonna win this.
Classic AEW battle royale. Nobody started in the ring.
You shouldn't.
Well, yeah, no.
My advice, listen,
they didn't ring the bell at all until John Silver got in the ring. But it's just
if you're ever in an AEW battle royale, take your time.
And everybody just starts beating the shit out of each other outside the ring, and then somebody goes, "Well, we're gonna wait until at least one person rolls in the ring, and then we're gonna ring the bell."
Yeah, so 20 guys or 15 guys were already on the outside; they weren't even in. Smart tactic.
Also, only 3/4 of them got an introduction.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too, but that's okay. That's okay.
Tag teams.
But like I said, it started off 2 guys were underneath the tables. I can't even remember who the other guy was, but I was like, whoever's underneath the table.
It was Kill Switch, and it was Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, yep. And I said one of them is going to win. It's going to be that classic old school battle royale tactic.
It's a gimmick you would see from Serpentico or
sure.
even R-Truth. I know different company.
Or Danhausen,
yeah. Or Danhausen,
come out from under the ring and hey, you never counted me in the whole time.
19 throws 18 out and he's in the ring celebrating. I won. Here comes Danhausen, or whoever. But the 0 hour was a great opener. It just, I don't know. The other 2, the battle royale was great. It is what it is. You can only have so much fun with the Battle Royale.
No,
and
it was
only
good
tell
because
so much of a story.
As soon as it came down to Trenton and Killswitch, it was so obvious it was going to go to Killswitch because this opportunity, whoever won, was going to be able to fight either the winner between Adam Copeland or Christian Cage.
Now, okay.
So now that made a lot of sense storyline-wise. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Like that'll play in eventually. Why
don't we get into that then? Why don't we?
Okay.
Go ahead and finish what your
I was
going
to
to
say, mind you, they really brought home the fact that Killswitch can now cash this in at any time, any place.
Any place, anywhere,
It was basically like a Money in the Bank briefcase situation for the TNT Championship.
Right. So, I mean, I feel like, and if you haven't watched the pay-per-view at this point, I don't know why you're listening to the podcast, but I appreciate it either way. But do you feel like they kind of, like, showed their hand a little bit with that? Like, they showed, I mean, it would be difficult to do without doing it this way, but by having Killswitch winning that contract or whatever, because it was a like a document folder with a supposed contract in it. Do you think they kind of jumped the gun almost to where it's like, well, okay, now I know he's going to get involved.
Well,
like without a doubt, I know that Killswitch is going to get involved with that match. That was one of the things
I had said, like immediately after he won, was okay, he could potentially cash it in tonight because it's Adam versus Christian
Cage,
later in the night, so he could potentially cash that in. There's like 100% possibility for that.
I feel like you had to.
I don't think it ruined it for me.
Oh no, I didn't ask if it ruined it. I'm just saying I felt like it was kind of one of those like, oh well, I'd almost be disappointed if he didn't show his face at some point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't expect
even as a tease, like a Damian Priest type of thing.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to go the way that it did. So I got to give
that was good.
Kind of a little bit of an applause to AEW. Having Christian Cage be that much of a sleazebag that he
so good.
He like doesn't even ask. He like just demands that Luch give him his title shot.
Assuming again you haven't seen the whole thing, maybe missed something. They went God, what was it? 25 minutes.
Yeah.
25 minutes. These guys beat the absolute shit out of each other like they were arch nemesis in Dragon Ball Z or something.
Well, I think
it was
a great match.
They're pulling everything out.
I saw a few negative reviews about the match, how people just didn't like it, which was very, very surprising. I felt like this pay-per-view, the opinions that I had were the polar opposites of the internet wrestling community, to where this match was, another one of it just wasn't. I've heard a lot of flack. It just wasn't what it should have been, and I kind of. I got to disagree. Like, I mean, do I think it was the quality of Edge and Christian circa 2002, or 2001, or TLC 1998, The Brood? Like, no, I don't think that they
really
went as hard.
Compare.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't think they went as hard as they could have back then. But I feel like these two went above and beyond beating the hell out of each other. Which is something you only do with an individual that you have history with.
Right. And you trust enough that can do that
exactly,
with,
that you have that trust in, to where I can beat the hell out of you with a kendo stick 5 times from Sunday.
Exactly.
And know that even though your back is welted to all get out, you're under the understanding that it wasn't anything personal, that it's strictly just to sell this movie.
Exactly.
And I really felt like they did a good job doing that.
Adam blasted Christian over the head with the kendo stick at one point. Like, it was
shorthand
brutal.
Too. It wasn't like your standard baseball swing. He shortened his grip, which means you make that kendo stick even more rigid, and just drove it into the back of his head. Like it to me, it felt like they really went for the jugular on each other. It wasn't gratuitous violence. It wasn't a death match, but it was a no disqualification match. They satiated the crowd's hunger for tables, ladders, and chairs, and fire.
Yeah.
I really think they hit everything on the head. Now, the way that the match ended up panning out, to where Edge wins and then Luch comes down. And that
kill
whole
switch
or kill switch, whatever, does that whole thing. Christian steals the contract, which, number one, I thought was a little bit corny.
Yeah.
Because if you win a contract, I feel like you just can't hand it over to somebody. They sign their name. It means you're walking around with a blank contract.
Well, yeah. I think they were trying to play
binding.
on. I think they were trying to play on the fact like it was so quick.
Right.
That he just
No,
took
I understand it. I understand it. It just That one kind of irked me a little bit. That's me being nitpicky, though.
Okay.
Next week, that Mark's going to say, oh, well, if you're nitpicking about who's signing the contract, you're being, way too critical.
You're looking for a critical thing to say, right?
And then he won in 11 seconds.
What do you think he said?
To who?
To Kill Switch. What do you think he said?
About Adam Copeland. He clearly said, fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're playing Christian has something over.
That's kind of what
Kill
I was
Switch.
thinking
He
too.
knows that he ate a fucking baby or something.
Yeah, I'll tell everybody
knows.
You're not a dinosaur if
really,
you don't give me your contract.
It gives me those vibes of Sons of Anarchy, where you had the Juice. Was doing all that awful shit for 4 seasons.
Literally no reason.
And he's like, I just didn't want anybody to know that I was part black.
And nobody cared?
Nobody cared. And it feels like it's going to be one of those things. With whatever the hell he's got. Because he's got something over him. I don't know.
He clearly does.
Or he's saying something. He's got a triggering phrase. You don't have a real dad, or something like that. That's
right.
Just making him go, oh man, because he's done it numerous times.
Yeah, meteor killed your family. Something.
I know the meteor that killed your family. You're not a real dinosaur. So I don't know.
That's intriguing.
I know you originally, maybe me too. I don't remember a lot. Kind of didn't like this very much initially. The Christian Cage getting the title back that quick.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, why? But then I let it simmer for a second.
I felt the same way. I reacted the same way to where I was like, well, that was fucking dumb. And then 15 seconds went by and I realized no, that's it.
That was perfect. What a better way to go out as the biggest heel of 2023 than like that.
Right? Not only has he completely upheaved an entire family in the Wayne residence, but he's also now completely just undermined one of the most powerful guys in all of AEW, and has got him so far under his thumb that he can have him give whatever he wants.
Right.
He gets whatever he wants, gets second chance after second chance after second chance when he doesn't deserve it, and
two-time TNT champion,
able to weasel his way back into it.
I love it.
It's so good.
It was so perfect because if Adam won and it ended like that, where do you go from there?
Right. You've got a redemption arc of Christian Cage, but it's just going to feel because once you take that belt away from Christian, once you take him off that podium, once you take the gold out of his kingdom,
right,
and have everybody turn on him, he's done.
You're taking that momentum.
That's the end of heel Christian.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, you can probably drop the belt and still have heel Christian, but it's going to take a huge chunk out.
Right.
And I don't feel like I'm ready for it yet. I want more.
I understand
I want
that.
to be mad every single time he graces my television and he takes another person and goes, oh, yeah, I'll take you under my wing.
Right.
It takes
you
another
don't have
person.
A father.
I'll take you under my wing. You don't have, I love it. I absolutely love this.
So unfortunately, the Continental Classic has come to a close for 2023.
Ooh.
It's so bittersweet.
I hate it. I want to go back to October when this shit started and do it again. I'm mad.
When Tony Khan first announced it.
I want the C3. Please, the Continental Classic crossover.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. That's what I'm hoping for next year is that there's going to be some actual NJPW guys in this fighting for that. The only thing that I thought would have been cool was if they had some different people from NJPW in it.
Right.
I digress.
Well, it was the inaugural tournament.
I
think it was it was a huge testing grounds for an American TV wrestling market.
It was
with a tournament like this because you don't have anything like this in WWE or anything on television wrestling wise.
This is heavily Japan based.
Oh, 100%. Anybody who doesn't see the similarities between AEW and NJPW with the way that it's structured is
absolutely
either blind or silly.
Very similar setup as the G1.
Right, and I think this was I think this was a testing ground to see if this match type or if this style of wrestling would work here with AEW and the American TV market.
Sure, I mean, if you've never watched any Japanese wrestling, it's probably a hard sell.
Well, it's a weird
type
concept.
Of wrestling.
Not a lot of people are used to a round robin style of tournament. It's usually a single or double elimination tournament. You have a losers bracket, and sometimes that that's about the standard you have. So I think this was definitely a good test for something like this, and I as far as I can tell, it was a huge success.
I didn't honestly see anything bad about it.
No.
I only read rave reviews about the actual Continental Classic itself. And I just have to praise everybody that was in the tournament was the perfect people that should have been in it.
Oh, yeah.
The stories that have led from it are just going to continue to grow.
Right. And it was really under a lot of heavy fire originally when they first started it for that, because the way that some of the matches were playing out, people were like, oh, of course it's going to go like this. Of course this person's going to win. Of course Moxley's going to have, an undefeated streak.
He's going to do well. Of course Bryan's going to do well.
Right. And it was under criticism for that because it's going to be exactly how we all think it's going to be.
Yeah, but then Eddie lost. And then Eddie got another loss. And I was like, all right, this is really interesting because even though Eddie is not technically the defending champion because he doesn't have that belt, but he's basically putting his 2 belts on the line to be part of this tournament. He does have the most to lose. He's the only person that's losing anything, by being a part of this.
Especially after fighting and gaining both of those belts over the past couple of months.
Right. He had to beat Claudio to get the ROH belt, and he had to go over to Japan to be able to be a part of the NJPW Strong title.
Right.
Which was his dream. I mean, I'm not saying that's anything bad for him, but he had to do a lot, and he had to put a lot of effort in to be able to get these 2 championships.
And a lot had to be trusted towards him as well.
Right. So to put them on the line was absolutely huge, and for him to get those 2 losses right off the bat,
and I was
worried.
Well, I was very skeptical at first because it was one of those, okay, if we want to take the belt off of Eddie, this is a good way to do it. But I was just so surprised that it was that early, and it was, and to be honest with you, when it first was announced, I didn't think Eddie Kingston was going to win.
No,
did my heart want him to? 100%. I was, the minute he got announced, I was like, either him or Brody King. Those were my guys. Those were the 2 that I was gunning for the entire tournament. Of course, I had a soft spot for Eddie. But, Brody's, I really enjoyed Brody's wrestling and his musical work. So it was, I'm biased towards that.
Yeah. I was hoping Swerve was going to be a part of the finale.
But I just didn't think that Eddie was going to have what it took to get through it.
And mentally.
Like everything that has been shown through his career.
Yeah, like that's where he was really struggling, was like being able to build that confidence in himself that he could go out there and he could actually win this. I don't think that he believed in himself at the beginning of this tournament.
I wanted to believe so bad, but it was so hard to get behind it. It really was.
For sure.
But I really think, getting all the way back to my original point, I really think they did a great job telling these stories and setting up matches that at first didn't seem like it mattered, that the results came out the way they did.
Right.
But as the story progressed, as the matches played out, as the wins and losses collected and the points piled up, those smaller victories or losses early in the tournament really started to mean more.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean? Like with Eddie facing Bryan in, I think, his second match,
right,
and getting the loss to him, and Bryan rubbing it in his face. That all came back in the finals for the Blue League,
right? Because at that point, Bryan's able to face Eddie again,
and he's already
never
beaten him.
Eddie's never beaten Bryan before.
He's already been cocky about it and basically saying, "You'll never beat me."
Exactly. I mean, look at the streak Bryan's on.
Right.
And he's going around making such a big deal. You're a bum. You're a bum. You're nothing. You can't beat me.
Which, listen, if that whole bum thing wasn't planned, because Bryan grabbed his fan sign from the ringside, and it said Eddie is a bum, and that was, I don't know if it was a planned spot or if it was just completely off the cuff. But they really ran with that, and it was
I thought it was
really
maybe some
good.
ROH thing, like him calling him a bum from back in the day.
I just figured that it was Bryan Danielson calling, seeing a sign that was like, "Oh, this is perfect. This is how I'm supposed to portray looking at Eddie."
They ran with it.
Oh, and it came out great. The King of the Bums.
What do you say? The Prince of the Gutters.
The King of the Bum and the Prince of the Gutters.
Like, I love it.
Mad King, baby.
Right. I love it. So it was telling a story. He was able to, go up against Claudio again in this tournament, which was a fantastic match.
Which was funny because we had just heard about all of the history between Eddie and him through Chikara Pro and him Cesaro, Claudio leaving for WWE and not quote unquote selling or laying down for Eddie and the rest of the company.
Right. So that had been happening over the last however many months. Basically, since Eddie stepped foot in the door of AEW, it's been him and Claudio going. Or I'm sorry, the other way around.
Yeah, I was
Claudio joined after. Ever since Claudio joined, Eddie was literally walking
snakes,
out
Eddie,
there.
I'm gonna show everybody who you really are.
Exactly. I think he's been there a year now.
Yeah, it's been great. They've done a lot of storytelling. Same thing with Daniel Garcia, with him having losses all the way up until the final match against Brody King, where he got the win, and then they had the 6-man
that was huge,
or the 8-man tag match with all the participants in the Gold and Blue League,
aside from Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston, who were the two finals for World's End. And everybody else faced
Daniel
each other.
Garcia getting that win.
That was huge.
Great. And
that was huge. That was an important part of the story. They didn't just throw wins out just to have a win out.
Right.
There was really a lot of thought into every single win or every single loss that everybody got. Is Daniel Garcia a professional wrestler? Is he a sports entertainer?
I mean,
is he going to dance? Is he not going to? It's like everything was just so important. Every detail was so important.
The only person that didn't have a lot to do other than being an individual that fueled points going to certain areas or points not going to certain areas, it was Andrade.
Sure.
I don't know. At this point, you should, if you haven't heard yet, Andrade, his rumor has been confirmed to be leaving AEW. More than likely would be showing up possibly even on Monday Night Raw tonight. But don't know if his exit was already confirmed or ready to, be a thing before the Continental Classic, or if it happened partway through.
It was a great way to showcase him before he left the company.
It was, but he definitely did what he needed to do on the rest of his contract. He did it well and left very quickly. Mm-hmm. That last match, he was like, goop, gone with Miro. He was just, I'm done.
Yep.
He lost and then done, out the door. So he'll probably be on. I guarantee he'll probably be on Monday Night Raw tonight. WWE's that petty lately.
He very well might be.
But yeah, the Continental Classic, loved it. That's not even touching the match between John and Eddie. An emotional roller coaster on both ends. A well-deserved victory.
Japanese wrestling is what they basically said that this was for. This was for their idols. I think it was Eddie that said, I want my idols to weep when they think about the match that John and I are going to have, because these two are real life, like, best friends. Eddie says John is like brother from another mother. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like one of those relationships where they are like real life family. So it meant a lot to Eddie to have this match against, of all people, John, who he again had never beaten before.
And even more so of whether their relationship. I mean, John's a tried and true. You need a guy to make another guy look good. Put John out there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And this was a great way to give Eddie the accolades that he needs, to give him the roses he needs, to give him the whatever he needs in order to put him as a top performer in AEW, NJPW, ROH, whatever promotion he's in with a championship belt. This was, honest to God, my favorite match of the night. It was the reason why I wanted to watch World's End. It was more...
same. Absolutely.
It was more enthralling to me to watch this match than the MJF Samoa Joe match, than the Tony Storm Riho match, than any of the matches. Like, this was the... we could have shut this off after this match, and I would have been perfectly fine.
I would have been bummed to have not seen the rest, but Eddie versus Mox was definitely the highlight of the night for me, and regardless of what happened, it was a phenomenal Continental Classic. It is something I'm going to look forward to every year.
For sure.
It's something that I hope months in advance we're going to hear people saying that they're going to be participating in it. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping we're going to get some press conferences, maybe something like that, with it, like they do with the G1, to really amp this up. They gave it to the right guy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They gave it to the right guy.
They told a great story with this. They gave it to the right guy. They really got behind an individual that the fans naturally fell in love with. It wasn't one of those. It wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't a shtick. It was just, that's Eddie Kingston. Love him or hate him. That's what you
Kingston.
Get. That's your ROH World Champion, NJP Strong, MBW Champion, and your Continental Crown Champion.
Yes.
That's a mouthful. But yeah,
I love that he's just a real guy, and it's always funny to me because he'll cut promos, and the constant question is, does Eddie realize that wrestling is not real?
I know.
Like, does he really think that this is real life? Because he dedicates his whole entire life to it.
But isn't
it's
that
so real?
Isn't
so
that
genuine.
something that you want from somebody?
Yes,
you know,
I love it.
As a performer, like he makes it so easy to mistake real life from kayfabe,
right?
And you look at somebody, whether it's on Twitter or it's on AEW television, and you're like, I don't know if he's being like sincere. Is he like I don't know if this is an actual act or if this is his actual way of thinking or so it's I think that's what makes him so relatable to the quote unquote everyday man, or everyday woman is he's just relatable. Yeah. He's just a dude. He's just a guy trying to get through and be the best that he can be.
Trying to live his dream.
And
that's
dealing
all.
with the same bullshit that a lot of us end up dealing with on an everyday basis, this Continental Classic did great. It elevated Eddie to heights that he's needed to go for. It has brought everybody else in the Continental Classic to a point they can build so much on. And a huge success. I'm super excited to see it next year. I just don't know what we're going to be doing for the next 9 months.
I know. It's like, what do you look forward to now? A revolution. Revolution is, I think, the next big thing that we need to kind of buckle down and look forward to. We've got Sting's last match. Revolution is always an absolute banger. They haven't even announced anything else, so I don't know what else is going down. But that's the big thing to kind of focus on. But it's kind of bittersweet to not be able to turn on Dynamite this week and see another Continental Classic match.
Who's gonna possibly be mathematically eliminated, or who's going to get against
Jay Lethal going to win at least one match? Like, nope, that's it.
Nope, Jay Lethal didn't win a single match. He was the Daniel Garcia of the Blue League.
No, Daniel Garcia beat Brody King.
Oh, that's right. He did get at least one win.
That's a huge win.
That was another thing. I mean,
Jay was the only one that did not win it.
That was one of the funnest things about the Classic too. Was you and I sat here every week, and we were analyzing the brackets of who had how many points, who had how many matches left, who hasn't fought.
If this person wins and this person loses, then this person advances. It was fun to do the math.
We broke down, every scenario, every possibility.
Yeah,
if this
Charlie
person
Day
won and that
scenario.
one doesn't, it's going to be fun next year.
Gonna miss it, but see, that's the thing is you can't oversaturate something that
absence
is that
makes
great.
The heart fonder.
You got that,
or something. You were gone for 10 days, and I couldn't wait for you to get back home, and that was just because I was tired of our children bothering me.
Well, for whatever reason, you'll look forward to in 8 to 9 months when I
get to go on vacation.
When
I'm just gonna go to some pay-per-view by myself.
That's horrible.
I can't do that. I had a joke. Fucking anxiety attack over that shit. Are you kidding me?
Be like, I got one ticket to Revolution and I didn't go.
I'd get to the hotel room and I don't even know. I'd fall asleep at like noon.
That's relatable too.
So Tony Khan has been running his version of Aces and Eights, or whatever other version of Masked Whodunit.
Yep.
It has been a very big point of contention, especially since Jungle Boy Jack Perry has been rumored to be the one behind the mask, which was not received
I think everybody has been rumored. Britt Baker was rumored.
Right. Right.
There were rumors that Adam Cole faked the injury and he was the devil, and it just, I don't know, some things just got
Roderick
so
Strong,
funny.
We've got
Sammy Callahan.
CM Punk was like the leading one for the longest time, that it was all a work, and Punk
I thought that was funny too.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know. When I heard Jungle Boy, I think at that point, at the time when I had heard it, I think at that point it was just like one of those like, what are we doing with this?
Yeah. And if it was that grand reveal, why?
I want to back up. The only person that I could possibly even like put in this situation or put in that position to be behind the devil mask, that would be one of those, wow, what a payoff.
Sure.
Would be CM Punk.
Yeah.
I think it's the only way you were going to be able to get this to be a payoff,
understanding
where it was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah, that would be great. Like the firing was fake before he showed up at Survivor Series.
Right.
I think that was the rumor.
There was no altercation between, Jungle Boy and him.
Yep, it was all fake and he was the devil. That would have made a lot of sense.
Because as far as I know, to my knowledge, and again, I am just a humble public citizen, that there's been I have yet to see any footage or any anything that documents CM Punk being violent with Jungle Boy.
Right.
And then again with Tony Khan.
Right.
Supposedly there is fan footage. Supposedly there are eyewitnesses. So, of course, you know, it is what it is. But, at the time, it
at one
very
point
well
it could have been possible. Yeah.
I mean, all of it could have been a work.
Sure.
You know, but I think once he, obviously went back to WWE, unless WWE's working with AEW. And
exactly, to let him be the devil.
Forbidden Door devil.
That obviously went out the door. Then we heard that whoever was actually in behind the devil's mask and behind the, masked men moniker were actually the people.
Now, I have one criticism about that as
I was going to also say one criticism about that.
I'll let you do it then, because I know it's the same thing.
Probably the same thing. Okay, how the hell could this man not get into the ring? We determined, after all, spoiler alert, Adam Cole is the devil.
Oh, see, I have a different point of contention.
Okay, so Adam Cole is the devil.
Yep.
We realized that. He like I said, spoiler alert, sorry, if you didn't know. The one weird thing about that is, again, we were told everybody that's behind the mask and the devil or the masked men moniker was the actual person. But Adam Cole jumped out of a car the other day when MJF got powerbombed through the car.
Right.
And he jumped right up out of that car like it was nothing, but
okay, I think I might have
couldn't slide into the ring and get on top of the chair.
I don't know.
When the actual pay-per-view event went down.
But personally, the one thing I thought of was another departure that just announced him leaving AEW is Shawn Spears.
Right.
There have been reports that Shawn Spears was an individual under one of the masked hoods at one point.
Which is really weird, too, because who replaced him? Or was there another devil that...
The only thing I can think of...
Or masked man, I'm sorry.
The only thing I can think of is Shawn Spears was one of the 4 henchmen.
Okay.
And unless Adam Cole's ankle is completely fake, the only thing I can think of is they use Roderick Strong as a stand-in for the devil to make it look like Adam Cole, so he could jump out of the
right, of course, because if you saw the Adam Cole actually get out of the car, it would have been really weird because you would have been like, this dude has a crutch.
He's got a boot. He's got a giant boot, and he's limping around.
Would have been a little bit of a dead giveaway, but I think they did what they could with it because there were rumors that Samoa Joe was in it. Well, Samoa Joe can't be in it because that dude is about 2 times the size of what these actual guys are. So it kind of narrowed it down.
Wardlow size guy, and it's Wardlow, and
it ended up being Wardlow. No surprises.
I'm not upset that it's not Jungle Boy. When I heard Jungle Boy, my stomach turned.
Same.
There's a couple other names that I heard. Britt Baker was one, and I even kind of thought the idea. I think the only person that would make sense is Adam Cole.
Sure.
And it felt so on the head.
It did.
It was just like the minute the lights turned on and he's sitting there, and it's like, well, no fucking shit.
And they pulled all their masks off, and it was
the
Mike Bennett, it's Matt Taven from the Kingdom, it's Wardlow, and it's Adam Cole.
You mean Roderick Strong?
Oh, and I'm sorry, Wardlow, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole.
And it was one of those
of course it was.
They pull the masks off, and again, AEW, fucking fix your camera timing, because 2/3 of them pull their masks off, and then they change the camera angle so you don't see them. They had to rush back to them, and they're standing there. But it was like once they pulled their mask off, it was just like, yeah, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
I
didn't hate it. Okay, here's my thought.
It didn't feel like the kick in the gut that they wanted it to be.
Yeah, did they expect us to be like, oh my God?
Right.
Because I don't think there wasn't a gasp in the house. I think we all unanimously went, yep. So I'm not mad at it because the story makes sense. It makes sense. Adam Cole is the devil. It makes sense that Roddy, Matt Bennett, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, Jesus, Lord have mercy, and Wardlow all have something against MJF. Right. That at least makes sense to the story. Now, why this happened, why Samoa Joe ended up winning over MJF, which unfortunately gets kind of pushed to the back burner because of the devil story, but we now have Samoa Joe, who is the AEW World Champion.
Right.
There's so many questions here.
Yeah. What did Adam gain from screwing over MJF?
Well, and also, why did Samoa Joe win the title? Like, why did it work out? What did Samoa Joe do that Adam Cole was like, I'll help you get the title if you beat these guys? I don't really know what it was, but if you look back and you watch like the promos with MJF and Adam Cole while Adam Cole was recovering from the broken, is it foot?
Yes.
Okay. He's recovering from his broken foot, and there's like interviews with him like in his room.
It's like he's on Skype.
Yeah, like Skype recovering. And there's a couple of them, and if you go back and watch them now, after everything's said and done,
you're talking about watching his mannerisms?
Yeah, Adam Cole is 100% pushing MJF to fight against Samoa Joe. Give him a chance.
He's trying to set it all up.
He's setting it all up, and I didn't necessarily really see it then. They did it well because they portray him as such a nice guy.
Right.
I didn't see those signs then. But there were so many signs then. So if you look back and look at those little pieces and look at the backstage interviews and we ended up seeing one where it was Roderick Strong and they were interviewing Adam Cole, same kind of thing, like a Skype thing.
Well,
and
yeah, because Roderick Strong's been screaming, he's the devil.
He's like, I swear on everything that he's the devil, and he actually pointed to Adam Cole,
right,
on the Skype video while they're talking.
I'm sure if you go back and you analyze how he talks about how MJF is the devil, you can break down the grammar to where it's like, okay, maybe he wasn't saying MJF, he is the devil. He might be saying MJF, comma he is the devil.
Right.
And
I kind of like it more now that I've done my own little bit of detective work, thanks to X, but kind of pointing some things out too. It makes a lot more sense. So for me, I'm not disappointed. A little part of me wanted to be surprised. I wanted there to be at least one member that was like, holy shit, Mustafa Ali is part of this devil, henchman. That would have been really cool. But everybody was just like spot on exactly who you thought they were going to be.
I saw a couple people were upset it wasn't Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, yeah, I wish it was Dolph Ziggler too, but that doesn't make any sense.
That would have made no sense.
If he was in place of Wardlow.
But why?
What was his motivation? What are you going to do?
But see, okay, here's my question, though.
People, for the most part, have something.
Is Adam Cole strictly doing this because he's just trying to ruin MJF's life? Because, again,
I don't know.
Samoa Joe holds the title.
Right.
At least
what
MJF,
did that do for Adam Cole?
Again, at least MJF, you had a chance to beat him.
Right. Now you just put this
Samoa
guy
Joe,
who's uninjured.
You could put Adam Cole inside of Samoa Joe.
Right.
And he'd still have room for dinner.
It's like that scene with Luke Skywalker in Star Wars where he hides inside of that thing for warmth.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't remember Luke Skywalker wrestling Samoa Joe for the AEW
You don't
World
remember
title.
that?
No.
That was the first Star Wars.
We haven't seen the last Star Wars, so
no,
that might be.
That was the first one.
Okay. That was the first one.
He fights Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship. Yeah.
No, I must have missed that. Was that in the bonus features?
No.
Oh,
you must have just fell asleep.
Yeah, that's it. I think I wasn't on the right amount of drugs for that scene.
I think so too. At any rate, I don't know what Samoa Joe had anything to do with this.
Again, did Adam Cole
he faked an injury so that
did he just get that mad? Did he just get that mad and go, you know what, I'm going to ruin Max's life?
But real quick, I have a question because this really doesn't make sense, and I haven't seen anybody notice this yet. But I just thought of something. Didn't Adam Cole fuck himself over? Because Samoa Joe.
Didn't Adam Cole fuck MJF?
Maybe they did. That's whatever they wanted to do.
This is all stemming from.
Hey, Tony Khan said, "Whatever you do in your own time."
That's true.
So Adam Cole screwed himself over, right? Because how did Adam Cole
helped
Samoa Joe get the championship, but he also lost his own belt.
That is. Yeah. Okay.
That is 1,000% true.
So,
he was half of the ROH tag team champions, and because Samoa Joe faked an injury to
probably
put all
Adam
of this
Cole's request.
Yeah, Adam Cole then no longer is the ROH tag team champion.
Yeah,
but his friend Mike Bennett and Matt Taven are.
And
that's fine.
That's my point. Is I don't know. I don't understand what Adam Cole's motivation is yet.
Adam Cole hasn't won anything.
But why is he? Why was he willing to give up any type of a title shot, and he's able to give up his he's willing to give up his tag titles just so MJF is sad?
Right.
Like, I don't understand.
Just so MJF would lose his title? Why didn't you take it from him at all in?
Was this entire time, like, the entire time was him
the questions
doing this
for this reason?
I just don't, like, I can't understand the reasoning why he's done it. And
what
of
makes
course,
it,
I'm sure we'll hear something about it on Dynamite, but...
What makes it even more confusing is that the rumors are coming out that Samoa Joe was going to win this belt even before MJF got hurt.
MJF's not hurt.
He is hurt. He has like a torn shoulder or something like that. That's why he's got the whole Chris Brooks get up.
Gotcha. Okay.
He has a torn labrum, I think is what it is. I don't remember exactly what that is, but he was fighting with that. That's why he was nursing his left shoulder so bad, because he's actually dealing with a legit injury that he had an MRI about a month or so ago, and they proved that he had an actual injury. So the rumors were that maybe Samoa Joe got it so that MJF could have time off and recoup
I have heard
from
he's
the
going to be
injury.
taking some time off. So
he probably is, regardless. But no matter what, whether MJF did actually get hurt or not, Samoa Joe always has been the plan for him to win. So my question is, and obviously you can't answer this, is how did the devil? Well, you can speculate. I mean, please. How did the devil storyline change when Adam broke his foot?
Did Adam break his foot?
I mean, we saw pictures of it. It could be just speculation.
Give me 15 minutes. I'll come up with broken ankle pictures all that I can hand and say that I went to the doctor for.
I mean, he's still walking around backstage promo pictures and stuff with the crutches. So I mean,
I'm telling you, like, you can fake an injury, especially if it's going to be covered up with a cast.
You could, but don't you think? Don't you think he would like Roddy and like walk around and be like, hey, you know?
Well, of course, play the part
instead of just sitting in the chair.
No, he played into it, faked the injury, so that once Max gets fucked over by this mystery group, there's no way that my bro Chacho is at home hurt after having all of this surgery and being so injured.
There's no way it's Adam attacking me.
There's no way it's Adam. There's no way my best friend, who's constantly not physically here, but a phone call away, that was constantly mad at me and never wanted to do this. Like, of course, there's no way he would ever do this to me. He's hurt. There's no way.
I mean, Roderick was not wearing the neck brace.
Roderick was never hurt.
Well, I mean, that's a whole different story. But
that's my point, though. Like, you know, like, and
so many signs.
I mean, he could be hurt. It could just be. I don't know, but I think it's one of those things that they leaned into either an actual injury or into a kayfabe injury so that he was able to throw the trail cold.
I'm just curious what would have happened with the storyline if Adam didn't get hurt. If he actually did get hurt, again, assuming he did.
I mean, like you said, Joe might have been slated to get the championship at the end of the year anyways.
Yeah.
Because he is a very hot commodity and a lot of people like him, want him to have a championship belt.
And I can see why he's got it.
Title championship material.
Of course he is, absolutely. It's just interesting to see what Adam Cole has any stakes in Samoa Joe.
Right. Well, and on top of that, MJF has been running for well over a year with this belt.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not saying that he needed to stop.
Days.
But at the same time, that's a lot for one individual.
It is.
You know,
and defending multiple championships, some in the same pay-per-view.
Multiple times.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't know what Adam Cole gains from all of this. I don't know what his response is going to be on Dynamite or Rampage.
Are we going to see something Dynamite with some more explanation to it?
How long are we going to not see MJF? And then on top of that, beyond the repercussions of the storyline and where he's going and or you know, where does this put MJF? Because as of right now, MJF has never come out to say that he has signed a new contract or an extension with AEW.
Which is a great way to play into it. Now he's not here.
The rumors are always sky high, and they've said, oh yeah, he's signed months ago, and it would make sense because he's stopped talking about the bidding war of 2024 as much.
He's really more of a family man in the sense that he's talking about AEW like it's his home, you know.
It's the best of professional wrestling.
Exactly.
The AEW World Championship
referring to it as we, you know.
Right. But with him not coming out and directly saying that he's signed he's openly said, no, I have not signed anything new. It's not a like, oh, I don't want to answer the question.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens. Yeah. It has been 100%. I have not signed anything. And AEW has not said anything about it. Nobody has made comment about it. I'm interested to see.
So that's fun. They can play that in the storyline.
I mean, I just don't see him going to WWE.
I don't either. With how important he is to AEW, with how much of he went from one of the four pillars to the pillar, the most important person in
Especially
AEW that was holding everything together.
Especially since one of your pillars has been fined, suspended, and has yet to be seen back on television.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they leaned in heavy to MJF this year. I think it was a
Rightfully
good
so.
idea.
Rightfully
giving
so.
him the title. I think having him have it for as long as he did was a good idea. And
Agreed.
personally, though, I think it was a smart idea having him drop this title right before the end of the year
In his hometown. That was good too.
And it's cliche professional wrestling. When you're in your hometown, you lose. But I feel like it fit the storyline so well.
It did.
You had the guy that's been on top. He has been everywhere he goes. They chant his name. He is your scumbag.
Yep.
He has created or formed an alliance with somebody that was such a fan favorite, that has such a good following,
He
that has such a
headlined
good
All
repertoire
In
with
with
the
his
fans.
best friend.
You know, and they really leaned into him. And now they're like, okay, now that we've got our champion who's got his feet kicked out from underneath him, Superman has finally gotten his ass kicked.
Right.
Now it's time for the retribution arc.
Exactly.
Now it's time for my scumbag to make his comeback and really make a difference, or be a complete asshole like he was when he first showed up. And I love I'm so excited to see what they're
the
gonna
idea
do.
of either way is great. Is it going to completely break him into being that asshole again? Is it going to completely break him to where he doesn't want to come back? Like you said, his contract is over. He's not even going to come back anymore.
Are we going to see him in WWE?
I don't know, but that's the great way, like you said, to kind of end the year in so much
Right.
question, but doing the right thing by putting the belt on Samoa Joe. I'm just curious to see, like, what does that do for Adam Cole? Obviously, you know, the Kingdom are the ROH tag champions. That's great.
Yeah.
You know, what does that mean for Roderick Strong and Adam Cole from here? Adam Cole's injured, air
Right.
quotes, you know, we don't know for sure, but assuming so.
Not only that, but what's the who's the next opponent for Joe?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, who's the next contender for the world title?
Well, and it's weird because there's really nobody else that's in any type of story with Samoa Joe either.
Right.
It's not like there's a clear-cut contender.
The only
There's
other
nobody
people you
that
have
won.
is the Devils, the Devils henchmen.
Yeah.
You've got Wardlow, who was involved with the.
Yeah.
You know, I know he's won that AEW World Championship.
And maybe that's part of the stipulation, you know, because we helped you. We get a shot at the belt.
That'd be a hell of a match
Wardlow versus Samoa Joe.
for the belt.
I'd love to see it.
That'd be a hell of a match.
I'd love to see it. Really, Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe would be a great match, too.
That would be. Oh, that would be. I want
love
to see
Roddy.
more Roderick Strong. Mm-hmm.
I do too.
I've never appreciated him until I've seen him in AEW.
Yeah.
I've known the name.
He's incredible.
But
The
yeah, I've
Kingdom,
heard that he's amazing.
They're so good. They
I
absolutely.
hated them.
They're so good. They deserve to be the ROH tag champions.
I hated
It
them for
makes
so long.
sense. Yeah,
That's
because again, it's the Chris Jericho effect
so
all
good.
over again.
No,
they're great at what they do.
I instantly changed my mind on them after watching them after about 2 or 3 matches.
They're so amazing. They're so talented individually, and not to be that guy. How can you just not love Mike Bennett? He's just one of the most positive,
He really is.
like, dudes out there. He's on.
Yeah.
If you don't follow him on X, definitely do. If you don't follow us on X, please do.
God.
We're at CAW.
That's like the first plug we've
Wrestling
had for a while.
Pod.
CAW Wrestling Pod on every social
Every
media
platform.
platform.
But
And yes, you know what? Real quick, I can confirm we did make a TikTok.
Yep, I told
We
you.
didn't make a TikTok. We created the account.
Right. We
Now
should
I have to
probably
figure out how to
make a TikTok. New Year's resolution. We will make a TikTok.
That's yours. That is not going to be mine.
We'll figure it out.
We're already way behind the curve in
Yeah.
learning TikTok in 2024.
Maybe I'll do claymation or something. Instead of live video.
Welcome to Coffee and Claymation.
Flip book.
No, I think caffeine and claymation is probably not a good thing.
Caffeine and claymation.
I feel like
Ooh,
claymation
that's a deep hole.
it takes a lot of patience and time.
It does.
And a steady hand.
Yeah, things we
and-
don't have.
No, this is why I turn wrenches. I don't have a steady hand. I need that twitch, that extra twitch
I
from the
understand.
caffeine gets that extra torque on that bolt. Yeah, I am still your CAW predictions champion. I came in at an almost perfect score. I have it here. I think the only one I got incorrect was the Gold versus Blue League.
Yep.
I picked the Blue League to win, and unfortunately,
did.
I was incorrect there.
It's okay. Daniel Garcia deserved the win on that one.
So I will finish out the 2023 year as your CAW predictions champion. I don't even know how many months this is running, but if you want to get in on the action, you make sure whenever you do your predictions for pay-per-views, premium live events, use the hashtag CAW predictions. If you end up beating me, I will, I don't know, send you a hug.
A virtual hug.
I don't know how I'm going to send a hug. No, we're going to try and get some coffee mugs together come 2024. We'll try to use those for, giveaways here and there.
Yeah.
And if you can outsmart one of us, then,
It's not really hard to do. We shouldn't really put that out there.
You're not going to get me. No, I am running this champion. I'm
upset.
I am the tribal chief.
I'm upset because...
Of coffee and wrestling.
You are. I had gone with Andrade to win because I didn't want to have the
head of the coffee table
community influence my picks. I didn't want to change it.
Contractual obligations.
Yeah. Also, I really wasn't sure about MJF, so I was wrong there too.
Yeah. I don't know. I just had a hunch. And even beyond the devil stuff, I had a hunch that it was a good time.
It seemed too on the nose, and damn it, it went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. And again, surprisingly, I'm not mad at it.
I mean, yeah, sometimes the expected is the best way to go.
It's not the worst thing. It's worse than... I would rather it go exactly the way you think it's going to go than have some surprise that makes absolutely no sense.
No, I want it to make absolutely no sense every time.
Why?
It's fun.
Hashtag goofy wrestling for life.
Makes me smile. Makes me scratch my head and question my own sanity over something that, just isn't supposed to make sense.
Okay, sure.
Doink the Clown. He was portrayed by 15 different people. Mm-hmm. Mae Young got power bombed through a table. That makes no sense, but I love it. It's wrestling. It's professional wrestling. And it's a new year of professional wrestling. It's 2024.
Can't wait to see the amazing things that we do.
We do. Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see the most amazing things we do.
Ever was so bored the other day and decided to download every single episode of this podcast. Thank you so much. That was so random.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. We got a random
41 downloads in one day. It was like somebody went through every single podcast.
It was within one day. It was within a 5-minute span.
It was incredible.
So somebody is out there just powerhousing coffee and wrestling episodes. You should powerhouse coffee and wrestling. That means they'd be consuming coffee and wrestling probably at the rate that we consume coffee.
That's perfect.
Cheap and easy.
Yep. We appreciate you, friends.
So I think that'll do it for this episode of Coffee and Wrestling, a wrestling podcast. We want to thank you so much for this entire year of content. I know you guys will be hearing this on January 1st, but we were recording this on December 31st, so we're still very appreciative of all the stuff that we have done this year, all of the listens that we've gotten, all of the fans that we have gotten. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at CAW Wrestling Pod. You can follow me on my own personal Twitter, at Gunk Dudley.
You can follow me at A Bacon Party.
Make sure you start your week out right with a fresh episode of Coffee and Wrestling, a wrestling podcast, posted every Monday morning at 4 a.m., so it is up and ready before you are. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in 2024. I've hit record. You're doing the intro, right? 2024, nothing's changed.